Okay, so finally, after several delays and what seems to be quite a long wait, we are now just a few days away from the release of Ni No Kuni 2, the sequel to the 2013 game, which was released back on PS3. Ni No Kuni was a charming and strong gem of a Japanese role-playing game that was considered by many fans and critics alike to be arguably the best role-playing game that was ever released on the console. But don't worry if you never actually played the game, because the sequel, Ni No Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom, is actually going to be a completely new story set hundreds of years after the original and with a completely new cast as well. In other words, while veterans of the original Ni No Kuni will find many similar aspects to the sequel, you don't actually need to have played it in order to follow along. And even fans of the original game are going to have to get used to a lot of different changes and features that are coming with Ni No Kuni 2. The story itself is going to be pretty typical of a Japanese role-playing affair. We're going to be following a young lad named Evan, who's king of a region known as Ding Dong Dell. However, it's thought by the local residents that he's going to be too young and inexperienced to command the throne, and so he is forcibly dethroned by a group of mice called the Mice Tribe, or the Mouse Tribe. And as all this is happening, as you might have probably predicted, there's also a new threat, a coming darkness on its way into the world, which Evan then seeks out to destroy, hopefully securing his place back as king. So how does this sequel compare to the original game? Well, obviously the first thing we're going to notice is that the presentation and the art are very reminiscent of the original. However, many of the gameplay mechanics are now very different indeed. Okay, so the main feature of the original Ni No Kuni in terms of combat, in terms of powering up your party and grinding and all of this stuff, was the familiar system, which is where you can capture foes, the game called them familiars, and then summon them out into future battles, and you can power them up into really strong allies for your team. And this feature was controversial amongst the fans. Some people loved it, some people thought it was okay, a lot of people hated it. Either way, this feature is now gone from Ni No Kuni 2. Revenant Kingdom will not have the familiar system in any way, shape or form. However, it is being replaced by other systems, some of which do involve using creatures but in a completely different way, along with whole new genres of playstyle being built right into the game engine and incorporated right into the narration. The combat system in Ni No Kuni 2 is going to be much faster paced than the original game. It's going to be action based and everything occurs in real time. Instead of using the aforementioned familiar system, a new creature type is being introduced known as the Higgledies. Now the Higgledies are going to assist in combat, but they're going to be present on the battlefield offering different abilities to the player. And I'm guessing that strategic use of the abilities that the Higgledies are going to offer is going to be required for successful attempts against some of the game's harder challenges. Some Higgledies will be buffing the party, others will be debuffing the enemy, and others are just going to be doing flat out damage of various elements. There's actually going to be over 100 different kinds of Higgledy types in Ni No Kuni 2, and some of them are even going to offer benefits outside of combat, such as showing you secret areas, etc, etc. One of the features I really enjoyed in the original Ni No Kuni was the use of a traditional world map that you don't often see in Japanese role-playing games anymore. Well, the sequel is going to be bringing this feature back into play, however there are a few minor differences. For example, all of the game characters will become chibis, and there will be some unique gameplay mechanics that can only occur from this point of view. The first of these are an RTS style of gameplay known as skirmishes or army battles, and it's going to involve Evan leading multiple groups of soldiers into battle, and we'll be able to acquire more of these by playing through the adventure. Now here is where things get super interesting, because some of the rewards that we get from these skirmishes are only going to be used in a brand new feature known as Kingdom Builder. And as this name suggests, you're actually going to be able to build your own kingdom, and as your kingdom grows, it's going to offer you more and more support for your party out in the normal world. Now, a lot of the details for this feature are still under wraps, but it seems you're going to be able to use a special kind of currency that's unique to this particular part of the game in order to place various buildings that each have differing functions. And do not worry about this sounding like a mobile-based game. The developers have already confirmed there will be no microtransactions in Ni No Kuni 2. This feature will be completely balanced around what we can do in the game. And some of the things that we do know are coming with the Kingdom Builder is that this is going to be used to access some of the game's most epic loot and magics. And it's going to be here we're eventually going to be able to build our own airship. So that should be fun. And now, I do suspect that this Kingdom Builder is going to involve a large portion of the game's optional content and endgame farming, but I'm interested in hearing what your thoughts are of this particular feature, so please do let us know what you think of the Kingdom Builder down in the comments below. And for all the other changes that we're not yet sure about or know about, we're just going to have to wait until the game's final release. So guys, thanks for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to leave a like, and please do come back and join us soon. I'm going to be live streaming Ni No Kuni 2 when it comes out on March the 24th. So I hope to see you then. Take care, folks. Goodbye.